Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Making sure my stream is running. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my stream. Let's see if we can make more progress this stream. I am recreate in these series of streams. I'm recreating a simple game called Suika Game. It's a game where you're just dropping fruit on top of each other. If they're the same fruit, they combine to form a bigger fruit. Once you get to a watermelon, which is the biggest fruit, it disappears, which clears up space, and then you can drop more fruit on top of each other. Let me show what where we're at currently. So currently, I started off building this game in WebGL on the left, and then when I needed to start doing some physics, which is the gravity for one, the object interactions with each other, that kind of deal, like this, like so, bouncing off of each other. Then I uh, needed to use, or well, it was easiest to use a pre-built JavaScript library. And so after doing some research, I settled on using one called MatterJS. Um, MatterJS comes with a built-in renderer, which is what you're seeing here on the right. So I built a complete game just about using MatterJS and its built-in renderer. And now I want to uh, continue by building a WebGL renderer, but using MatterJS as the uh, like the physics engine. So that's where we're at, and so in my previous stream, I was able to create the box, as you can see. And so in this stream, I'm hoping that we'll be able to uh, create these fruit and drop them on top of each other. So let's open up the files and dig right in. So just for those who haven't been following, the actual game files are very simple. I just have a HTML game file. The sprites for the fruits, they're in images, and then the logic is in these JS files. So for these JS files, the two libraries I'm using are third-party libraries are GeoMatrix and Matter. So they're built by someone else. GeoMatrix is a library where I can perform matrix operations, and it's geared toward WebGL. MatterJS, that's the physics engine. So the two files that I've been modifying are game.js and modules.js. And that's where all of my um, game logic reside and rendering as well. So having said that, let's start. Okay, so I've been able to render this box. Now I want to start rendering the fruit, and the first fruit I want to render is the fruit preview, which is which gives the player the visual cue as to what the fruit is that they're gonna drop next. So let's try it. Um, So get random fruit creates the fruit, and then add fruit to matter. That adds the fruit. So uh, let's create a add fruit to WebGL. So it doesn't. So I don't have to worry about the same code being compatible with both versions. So add fruit to WebGL. Mm, um, I remove the fruit preview from world canvas. So this gets the bounds of the canvas, and then I'm calculating the coordinate that my mouse is clicking at. Or no, not really. I'm calculating the center. Wait a minute. Client X, client Y. X, Y. Yeah, yeah. So X is the coordinate that my mouse is clicking at. Y is 30, so it's always gonna be at the top. That's where the fruit will drop from. And then the scale is the fruit size. Render sprite. That's the picture of the fruit. And then various other arguments. Matter.composite. So I'm adding this ball, which is the fruit, and then I add it to the objects. Um, yeah, and then I create another fruit. So let's see here. Matter objects dot push ball. So textures objects WebGL objects. WebGL objects. Yeah, so I have everything separated. So let's do that. Add fruit. So instead of matter objects, I should have WebGL objects. Everything else should be okay. Get random fruit. Let's also add this random fruit to, yeah. So the same function generates the fruit in both and then adds it to both worlds. On second thought, let's not do that because it'll make it harder to after we're done. And if I want to separate it out, get rid of one or the other, it would make it harder. They're tied to the same function. So I'll create a new function called get WebGL random fruit, and I'll do this. Hmm. Mhm. Okay. GeoCan game over. GeoFruit preview. Get WebGL random fruit. Get GL random fruit. GeoFruit preview. GeoCan game over. GeoCan game over. Okay. Add fruit to WebGL. Get random fruit. Get WebGL random fruit. Okay, so it's GeoCanvas, not just Canvas. Handle collision. WebGL object. Matter object. Yeah, so I gotta convert all the references. WebGL objects. All right. Sprite. GL engine. WebGL. Oh, okay. Engine should be fine because it's engine inside this function. WebGL object splice. Next fruits -1. All right. Should not need that. Fruit sizes. Fruit. Next up. Index fruit. One. Watermelon count. Add fruit to WebGL. Great. So I already changed that even before I had created add fruit to WebGL. But now I have add fruit to WebGL. Yeah, so unless if I missed anything, I think this is good. Yeah, let me copy this as well. So restart WebGL game. And that's because it's using this WebGL objects, GL engine, GL objects, GL objects. Or is it just GL? You start WebGL game. Okay, it's just GL. GL can game over. But it's WebGL objects. Double check. Yes, WebGL objects. Okay, create GL engine, create WebGL. Okay, restarting the game. Handle collision. Yes, handle collision. Restart. Mhm. Okay. So I think that looks good. Now it's time to work on the rendering. And that would be draw scene. Um, well, draw WebGL scene actually. So I have the wall. Yeah. So one thing to add is that GL fruit. I need to also add the type wall. Maybe circle. Yeah. So we have a wall, a cube, and a circle. Cube isn't currently being used. Yeah. So I want to refer back. Okay, so let me move this cube section down to the bottom. So that it makes it easier for me to switch between the circle and the wall. All right. So so the wall is working. So let's kind of translate from the wall to the circle. Map 4 create, map 4 create, map 4 translate, map 4 translate. Okay, so the offset. I spent a lot of time in the previous stream figuring out an appropriate offset. And so I'll just translate it, use the same value. Um, Translate, okay. And then rotation matrix create, rotation matrix create, rotate and scale. For the wall, I don't rotate it, but I do scale it. So rotate by around the Z. Yes, that's correct. Rotation. That is something that, yeah, that I do not need to pass in. Draw WebGL scene. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this rotation I'll need to calculate, or I need to grab it from the object. Map for scale, instead of object.scale, I need to grab this. Set circle position attribute. Yes, set circle attribute, position attribute, circle attribute. Those I might need to, should be fine actually. Bind buffer, circle dot buffer. Yeah, yes. Um, yeah, textures, object dot texture. That is something I will need to edit. Mm-hmm. Maybe like that. Okay. Use sampler, triangle fan. All right. Let's give it a whirl. See how close we got. All right. An error somewhere. Okay. Objects dot for each is not a function. WebGL. Okay, it's because I removed the rotation from draw WebGL scene, and I neglected to um, do the same in the where I'm calling it. So main. Okay, create WebGL renderer. That's the object that or the function that creates the renderer, which contains the call to draw a WebGL scene. So let's find where that's happening. World. Draw WebGL scene. Yeah. Okay, yeah, cube rotation. That's totally not being used at all anymore. Cool. We got the fruit. But yeah. But okay. So it's ID 13 most likely. Angle 0. Okay. Render sprite. Render sprite texture. Render sprite texture. So it's so the texture is the render sprite texture. Fruit textures. Okay, textures. I need to find out where okay. Let's see. So yeah, draw a WebGL scene. I should be passing in textures. Let's see if I'm doing that. Create WebGL. Create matter. WebGL renderer. Let's see here. WebGL renderer. Canvas. Canvas. GL. Vector fragment. Buffers. Okay. Textures. Okay, textures. Textures. So I should be loading the textures indeed. Yes, that's all correct. I'm loading the texture. I'm loading the texture. GL. And then, yeah, fruit textures, fruits. Okay, that looks okay. All right, textures. WebGL. Render.textures. So it should have them. Hmm. take a look at WebGL scene. Print out what textures we're seeing. So the circle is displaying, but the texture isn't. Object.render.sprite texture. Maybe it's not the text. It's not. Yeah. I think I understand what's going on. Yeah. So I need to pass in the fruit and not the texture. And that would mean that when I create the object, I need to also set the fruit. Um, yeah, and let me look up how I am determining what kind of fruit it is. Create WebGL, and that is handle collision. Fruit texture. Oh, okay. So it's from the fruit. Yeah. All right. Mm, mm. So this actually would work, but what I need to change is the way is the keys for the textures um object. That makes sense. Let me show you what I mean. Object dot texture. Object dot yeah, it should be go back. Object dot render dot sprite dot texture. Object dot render dot sprite dot texture. And then textures. Textures. Where am I loading? Textures. Yeah, texture. So here I need to do textures. Yeah. Okay. Now let's give it a shot. Awesome. Okay. So we're able to see the fruit now, but when I click to drop, nothing happens. So let's figure out why that is. So that's again should be in the event handler is in create WebGL. So it's in Canvas. Yeah, let me see if I'm adding it to the right place. Canvas, yes, canvas.add event listener. Add fruit to WebGL. Client X, client Y. Add fruit to WebGL. It might be that I need to scale this as well. Add fruit to WebGL. I just noticed that adding fruit is dropping at a higher point than the fruit preview, so I'm setting it to the same level height wise, same height. Add fruit to WebGL. Okay. Yeah. Add fruit to WebGL. X, Y. Okay. X scale, Y scale. Hmm. So this works 350 geofruit, geoengine.world, geofruit preview. But I'm wondering why add. So the coordinates seem like they should be working fine. Maybe it's this. Yeah, I think it might be this. Because there's no canvas. It's now geo canvas. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. Hmm. Hmm. So I think the fruit is dropping somewhere. Let's see if we zoom out a bit, if that'll bring the fruit into view. Hmm. Crossing, -10. See here. Hmm. So it's not dropping, it's disappearing. Okay. Hmm. So when I click, let's see, when I'm clicking, might be the rotation. I need to figure out the rotation. Um, angle, angle maybe, angle. Circle, create. Hmm. So at least the textures they're fixed now, but we're seeing some issue, and I'm thinking it's the logic, the collision logic. So let me get rid of this because I the console logging, so it's not cluttering up the logs. Okay, got a honeydew. Okay, so let's inspect the event handler more. Create WebGL. Mouse constraint element canvas. Is that correct? Canvas, GL canvas. Yes, that is correct. Engine.world, engine.world. Mouse constraint, render, handle collision. So that's one, but more, more, add fruit to WebGL. Let's check the coordinates. Um, hmm, okay. Fruit. Where is, oh, fruit. Oh, okay. So there's one bug. It should be GL fruit. That's one bug fixed. Let's check this. Yeah, so random fruit. That would explain um why the two fruit previews are always the same. Okay. So now at the very least The fruits could be different. All right, 181, 462. So what's puzzling me is that this x and y are fine. I'm seeing the fruit rendered without issue. Is it because it's static? Hmm. X. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Hmm. So it should be fine. 181,462. 181. And that's all I care is just 181. I don't care about why. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay. So something is up nowadays now. Let me see what I changed that might be causing this. And oh, and this is one uh benefit to using version control, that I don't need to public JavaScripts. It's easy to check all the modifications that I made. Restart WebGL game, restart game, get random fruit, add fruit to WebGL. Ball? Oh, ball. Oh, scale. Hmm. Draw WebGL scene. Load fruit, load texture, textures, fruit textures. Hmm. Okay. So this shouldn't matter. But this is the only change I see. Ah, okay. It's weird that that fixed it. So that is strange, but if that's the case, let's do it to both. Okay, let's add back the logging only for the fruit. Time to trace things. Okay, so ID 13, that's the fruit preview. ID 15, that's the new fruit preview. Let's see what happened. Okay, so it does not seem like it added the fruit. So why is that? Let's try to figure that out. Ball, add. Let's check the difference between these two. Okay, matter.composite.add, GeoEngine, world, GeoFruit, preview. Matter.composite.add, GeoEngine world, GeoEngine world, GeoFruit, preview. Ball. Okay. Let's check. Fruit to WebGL. It's because yeah, I didn't add on the here we go. I didn't add on the property, so it's not even rendering because it doesn't know that it's a circle. Yeah, so just add it to the end. All right, that should do it. Here we go. Here we go. Cool. Cool. Rotation, and I really got to change the background. Yeah. So two things, two issues with the rotation. First, it's rotating in the opposite direction of what we want. And second, it's rotating at a very small degree. So it's probably the units are different with the rotation, which is something that I suspected. But first, let's change the color. What would be a good color to change to? The color of the background, what I'm referring to. But I'm pretty happy that we're seeing something visual now, making good progress here. Create WebGL. Yeah, looking up, looking up where we're defining the background. That's what I'm doing right now. Mhm. Okay, probably in draw scene or draw WebGL scene. Draw WebGL scene. Yeah, yes. Okay, so color is currently red. We tried blue. Some of the fruit are green, so green is, yeah, but it's red too. Purple as well. All right, let's just make it gray. Gray background. Oh no. Hmm, what the border? Yeah, so I need something like that. All right. That's looks good. Let's uh let's adjust the rotation. So angle. See here. Angle negative 0.93. Hmm. Let's see if we can find documentation on MatterJS. Angle. Like in radians. Okay, so change, so let's do yeah, radians to degrees. Okay. 1 radian is 180 degrees. Degrees 57. I mean it's 180 or wow, we should do degrees instead. So pi radians equals 180 degrees. So 1 degree equals pi over 180 radians. I remembered pi was being used somewhere. Let's try to search for that. Yeah, there we go. Pi. See if it's being used anywhere else. Pi. Math.pi 45. Okay, so we have pi divided by 180. Let's um use that there. So it's giving us radians. Let's change it to degrees. Hmm. Let's see how what uh what effect this has. Oh, 402. Hmm. Um. Yeah. No. If anything, I think it should be the opposite. Where angle I think is in degrees. So we should do like that. Try this. So 45 over 180, that's 1/4. Hmm. Kind of weird. Do that. Hmm. Much better. Yeah, much. Still slightly. Hmm. Slightly rotating at a slightly too much, I believe. Let's slow it down a bit. See if that changes it. Hmm. I think this looks good. Yeah, looks good. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It looks more blurred, it's more realistic. Yeah, so I just this is more of a experimental approach, not really based off of math. I say. But yeah, great. So we got it working. Um, Pretty cool. Like, so this is the canvas renderer that's built into MatterJS, and this is our or yeah the custom built WebGL renderer. Yeah, interesting though. Anti-aliasing seems like there's some aliasing going on. Yeah. So I think this will be a good stopping point for this stream, and then uh, we'll pick it up next time. Probably. So there's a couple. Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to do. Um, see here. Read me. Okay, we got MatterJS with WebGL renderer. Add animation for combining fruit. So when the fruit combine together, right now it just disappears and the new fruit comes out, which is a little jarring. I want to create some like sparks flying when the fruits combine, and that might be a whole separate library. But yeah, so I'm gonna upload this to my website, and I'll post a link to it um in the description, so you guys can play with it if you want. Before we leave, let's check any comments. What is what is why are you hey? So I'm using Notepad because I can, because yeah, because I don't need a fancy IDE. Um, but yeah, I it's not as convenient as having a fancy IDE, but what I'm creating isn't a very fancy program or game. Suika Game. This is Suika Game. It's a game where you drop fruit on top of each other, and if it's the same fruit, they combine to form a bigger fruit. And if they're not, well, then you just fill up the box, and if you get to the top, it's game over. And if you get to a watermelon, it disappears, which clears up space so that you can continue dropping fruit on top of each other. Just a simple game. And yeah, so things to do that I want to address: add animation for combining fruit. That's one. I spotted and aliasing. So like for the apple in particular, it seems sometimes makes it a little locked. Aliasing of texture, improve fruit sprite. Mm, yeah, and then I'm also gonna uh, create a desktop version. So it'll be an offline version you can download and just open it up and start playing. on your computer. Not there's not gonna be a mobile version. Minify assets. So this is gonna be uh to make the JavaScript file as small as possible. Hmm, that's not good. Not responding. I'm gonna remove the debugging statements. Yeah, there we go. Oh, something else I'll probably need is to add a loading screen. Maybe refactor the code as well. Yeah, but I think it's pretty cool right now that there's two versions side by side, and you can play both versions at the same time. So that was weird that that just fell off. Hmm. So I'm thinking that there might be some bugs in the physics library because we've been seeing some, you know, sometimes the uh, fruit sticks to the bottom and rolls. Yeah, but cool, cool beans. So you all have a good day. Thank you, Adrian. Thanks for the compliment. And yeah, thank you. So I'll end the stream now and see you all next